Welcome to the session. So this is Manjula from HerSecondInnings. Wanted to bring you a quick ways of building the resumes for yourself. We thought about it. Is it a good time or when do we do that? But then we thought any time is a good time and we should just do this for all of you. It's just not for women who are on coming break to just look into the session. It's for any professional. If you're just stumbling, how should I put my resume up and make sure employers are able to look into that? This is a session you should watch out for. So, with that, not of a over delay, let me start. What am I going to keep it for you in a simplified way? Allow me to share my screen. Here we go. So this is a simplified session, which is just going to be, I would like to wrap it less than 30 minutes. Let's see how are we just going to do that. So how do we do your resume? So we first of all need to take a pause and then do a two more simplified step before you start writing your resume. What that is going to be? The first one, you're going to do a little research. When I say little research, you should be knowing about what is the job you are going to apply and what is that industry is looking for and how do you put your thoughts together. So it's a reflection as well as research put together. Don't worry, don't make it overwhelmed, and we will simplify this step too. So that's what you're just going to do. First one is your research. The second one is prep. Everything comes with a preparation. Planning is a basic, the fundamental, important part of our life. So even to prepare your resume, you're going to prepare yourself. And we have simplified this step too for you to just take a look at that. How can you do your preparation? Once you've just done your one and two, the third one is going to be your DIY. Do it by yourself. You're going to do it in a simplified way, which we have just given it in a 7 simplified steps. So put together by magic number 10, you are done with your draft resume. That's our 30 minutes challenge. So how do we do that? The research, all right? Let's assume you're just going to look for a software developer, tester, architect, marketing, HR person, account person, doesn't matter. Whichever the job you're just going to look into that, first thing you're just going to look at that, the job description. Who will provide the job description? Plenty of options are available, but your go-to site for us time being is going to be LinkedIn, as well as couple of job portals, could be Naukri, Indeed, whatever you are familiar with that. Take these two sites for you to look at that. How are you going to do your research? So just go ahead in LinkedIn and type it saying accountant or a tax analyst or software developer, project manager. Choose the industry and the job description is going to come out. Read it. So what is that? We are just going to look at that. When you are going to look at that, pay attention to what is that the keywords they are highlighting. If you do 5 to 10 job description analysis, you more or less nail it down to the keywords, expectation, the kind of timings they are looking for, the kind of a remuneration, and the time, whether it is a work from home, full time, all those analysis you would be able to do that. Keep one notebook and make a point is about it. Right? So that's your point number one. And second, a career scan. What is a career scan? So this is the research about how is the people are moving. So for example, typically one of the biggest question people comes and ask about, hey, I've been in the industry for 15 years. What should I do? I never done so much about that. I joined my organization. I pretty much stayed in the organization. Nothing has been upgraded. What should I do? Or somebody would be coming, I just joined it just 1 year, 2 year. What should I do? Look at that. So all you have to just look at that is this is the time where you're just going to look at that. When somebody is asking for 10 years of a project manager, 8 years of software developer, and 5 years of accountant, what are all that in that career they are expecting? entry level to that level, whatever you are looking for. Right. So if somebody is asking for IT project manager, you're just going to look at that. What kind of a project manager they are looking for? Is it for development project, support project? If it is development, what kind of a technology they are planning, asking you to manage? What kind of a deliverables you have to do that? And are they expecting something like a PMP certificate or something like that? What kind of a outcome they are asking you to just manage it? Is it the budget? Is it about the timeline? Is it about the people? Is it about overall end to end? Is there a people management or just a project management? So this will just give you the entire depth of it when somebody puts you so many years of experience. And what is that career supposed to do about it? That's called your career scan. So with that, you also look at that industry trends. Most of the time, the industry is just looking for, hey, work from home is okay. Anywhere location is fine. Some of the industry is big no, kind of a retail, banking, etc. It's a customer facing time and you need to be in office. Right? What kind of a timing they expect you to work? Is it just the 9 to 6 or somewhere the client is outside and you need to pretty much be available all the time? Is that the industry trend? Just look into that. Then you also just look at that, just being in the LinkedIn, that's the advantage. Look at that, these kind of a job delivered or done by who are all the people. Look at their profile. So put together, this will derive a important keywords for you, which you have to keep it in mind when you are going to prepare your resume. And what are all the key important information which has to be showcased in your resume? This is your two things which you are just going to make a note out of it when you complete your research phase. Done? Quickly, the research part of it. Now let's just move on to the next stage, which is your preparation. This is with that information, it is your internalizing your thoughts of how are you going to prepare yourself. Now you have entire information, resonate and look at that. Hey, this is what is the job is expected out of this role. How am I geared up for it? Is this job goal resonates with my experience, education, and so far what we have achieved? That's a kind of a pointers for you to think through. Yes, I did this last 5 years of this accountant job, 10 years of the HR job. It resonates with me. Awesome. If not, what are we going to do? So, if not, then you're going to put two questions. That's okay, but still, I am excited to explore. No, this is not something I was thinking. I thought this is going to be the one what I used to do, but what I just figured out in the research is completely different. Right now, I am not ready for it. So this job goal is going to put a tick mark how much you're excited to move forward. It's also a reflection point for you. The moment you get excited, and the second part is just call out your experiences. What is that you have spent, which is going to be added pointers to talk about your resume in this job role, what you're going to prepare. And rest of the things is easy. Your education is always is a standard one, no brainer. You're going to just do that. The only thing why I've just pushed it over here is if at all any certification, if at all any of the volunteer or anything you have just done that training, etc., please try to bring it over here. Jot it down. So that's why I specifically put as an education here. Then the contribution, whether you have just done any community effort or even in the existing organization, any voluntary activity towards this job goal, don't miss it out. Make a note of it. Right? So all you're going to put it is first thing, prepare your mind saying that, hey, now we have just got entire job description. Is this resonates with me? That's your job goal. If the answer is yes, then call out this rest of the 3 pointers, detail your experience pointers, detail your education, certification, training, or whatever. And finally, any volunteer work you have just done as part of a contribution, mentoring, etc. Just do that. So that's it. So we have just done the 2 steps. Step 1 is your research. Step 2 is internalizing your thought process to go for your next step of DIY. Good to go? So let's just go ahead and then put your third step, which we are waiting for. As I said, if you've just done your planning well, this is going to be a cakewalk too, right? So do it yourself. You're going to do it by yourself as a step-by-step approach. What's that we are going to do? This is the quick 7 sections which we are going to talk about it, which will just help us to look at that. How are we going to do that? So the first one is just going to be, okay, hold on. Looks like my PPT is not visible. I am just going to figure it out. Just give me a minute. I'll come back. Just give me a second. Let me just bring my PPT up and running. Where am I? Oh, sorry for the hiccup. Let me just go back here. Oh, I thought I did a present screen. Okay, share my screen. I'm sorry. Let me just go back. My screen. Hope my screen is visible now. Let me just go back. Yes. Quickly, since we have just come back with that screen sharing as a challenge, a quick snippet of what we have just spoken about it in less than 10 seconds, just to revamp, to go to the right slide, right? So as we just spoke about it, this is what we are just going to do about it. So the first one is research. Second one is preparation. Third one is do it yourself. This is the 3 things which we are going to talk about it. And research, we spoke about it. You're going to look at your job description in multiple places, do your career scan and industry trend, people connects. And finally, you're going to derive 2 things, keywords and important information. The second one, once you have your entire input, you're going to go and prepare your mental readiness for preparing your CV. So is the job goal, what they asked, what you have seen, is resonates with you? And if yes, the answer is going to be detailed your experience, and is there any education which has to be bring out towards that job goal, and any contribution you have done, just make a rough point is about it. So with that, we have just come to your DIY part of it, which is the entire section which we are just building for you to do that. So this is going to talk about the 7 sections which we are going to do that. The first section is going to be personal section. Second is going to be objectives. Always there is a question on the objective. Let me just come back and brief you why it is important. Then the key skills, professional experience, education, certification, and membership volunteer. The thumb rule is the resume is not going to go run over beyond 2 pages. If at all you have so much to talk about it, worst case scenario is a 3rd page. Ideally, 2 pages is a optimum size which we can look for it. Beyond that, nobody has a time to just see the page after page what we are doing. So for that, if you highlight this section, these sections, what we are spoken about in a concise manner, we are good to go about it. Right? Let's start with the personal section. So the personal section is, again, we just simplified it to just talk about it as a very minimalistic resume. So you're just going to talk about your name, the display name, what you wanted to just talk about it, your name, first name, last name. Preferably, that's a format people prefer that. Put it your display name, what you're looking for. Then your email ID. The email ID is just going to be your professional email ID, rather than having a personal with somebody keeps saying that email is just like that, your buddy, whatever it is, just try to make it your, instead of going through that kind of thing, your professional ID, which you feel good about in conversing with anybody using that email ID. And also make sure your email ID is also regular ID, so that you keep watching that space a daily basis to look into that what's happening. Then the next pointer is about a mobile number, which is a working mobile number. If you are applying in a different country, different places, ensure your country code is also displayed over there. Then your PIN code, city, state, country, which gives you the clarity wherever it is, which city you belongs to. You would be able to do that. You don't need to worry about pushing your apartment detail and street name and etc. Worry about it. The more you have just given the pin code and the city, the HR and the organization would be able to find out which location you are from. So this is good enough to stay with that. And finally, not to forget it, your LinkedIn URL. So this is going to be your professional identity. Make sure you are also going back and touch base your LinkedIn to say that you are active and check up how your message has been given to relevant employers. Please do that homework as well and then get their LinkedIn URL. That's it. That's your first section. You're just done with that, right? So now let's move on to the step number 2. Before step number 2, there is a sample example for you. I've just pushed it again. These are all is a fictitious data. So if any is a correlation, please pardon me. Just pick up a data which says some name and email ID and some LinkedIn and etc. So just go for it. Then is your objective. This is where people will get a question as well as how do I prepare? That's what we typically will just be getting these 2 pointers from our members. First of all, their question is, why do we write the objective? The answer is, if you're applying for a job, it just makes a employer or HR person to just look at that, how keen you are. So this 2-liner, 3-liner makes them to say, okay, you're really good. We should move on to that. For that purpose, build your objective. Second question we just get it, how do we do it? It's too much for us to think, right? Especially this, we just get it from mostly on a tech people who are not comfortable in preparing the resumes or they have not done it long time, or even a non-tech people who have not touched the resume, they will always have this question. Don't worry, we just made it as a couple of pointers for you to write it out, which will automatically emerge your objective statement on your own. What is that? Why do they have to hire you? Remember, I told you to look at that your job goal. Are you resonating with the job what you're applying? If that is yes, now that pointer will just say that, hey, you know what? I have a right experience, so they can hire me. I have a right skills, so they can hire me. No, whatever they ask, I can bring the same result, so they can hire me. So think in terms of these 3 pointers. Why do they have to hire you? Note it down. That's it. That's your objective statement. I will just take you through a sample that will just help you to just look at that. How can you write your objective statement? I told you think about the results. So the results driven Java developer with the mastery of your skills, which is your web design, JavaScript, Node.js, and HTML. Could be like that. Again, the results could be you've managed 8-member team for a critical application development, right? In whatever the skills and whichever the client. So that could be another example. You can say, yeah, I managed 8 members of a critical application developed in this technologies for this client. And the success story about that is there is no downtime. Could be like that, right? So think about these kind of ways in terms of your skills, experience, and the results, what you brought, which is resonating with your job you are going to apply, and convert it as a statement. So using these kind of example, you can build your statement. Some more example, right? Adaptable team player and IT professional with 5+ years. It's easy to write, right? There is nothing to be thinking about. You're an IT person. This is the number of years of experience, and you're a good team player. And you've given a good success as a developer to a client. Awesome. That's it, right? Or you're a tester. You just work for 2+ years in the particular tool, which is called Selenium, and you have always been part of Agile as well. That showcase you are the right member for that particular job. So whatever it just resonates, reflect and make it as a statement using your skills, experience, and the results. That's the easy way to go about it. So now, whenever you feel that, you can just pass it later and then write your own pointers. other objective for you to just look at that. And I just purposefully made it as a yellow background where you can just rewrite these kind of a similar sentence by changing your skill and your experience and delivery, whatever it is, you can also look at that. The third section we are going to talk about is key skills. Don't worry about it. Just put a tabular column and just make it as a three general pillar, which you're going to talk about. Your technical skills, leadership skills, and general skills. That's it. Your technical, anything you think it's technical, relevant to the job, list it over there. And leadership, if you manage a team and you're able to just give a good delivery and you understand everything, put it under that. General, any of this related to your training, quality, anything, just push it over there. That's it. That's all you're going to do that. This is no brainer activity. All you have to make it as an Excel, resonates with the job, and then push it across. That's what you're going to do about it. Right? Fair enough. So that's the pretty much key skills for you. And some examples should be there, the same thing, just to put it across. This is the easy one, which you can just do it by yourself. Not a problem. I am seeing there is a PPT is missing again. Okay, let me just come back and then do that. Just give me a second. Is this visible? Anybody can just confirm it. Is the PPT is visible? Let me just hold on to get the confirmation. Anybody can confirm? Once more, I am just going to go back and share my screen. Let me just check that. Where are we? Here. Okay, let me just share my screen again. Stop sharing and I'm sharing my screen again. Hopefully it is visible now. Just do let me know in case if you find it difficult. Let me just check it out. Right? Okay, fine. Right. So the next one we are just going to talk about it is your professional experience. Again, the professional experience is just going to have these sections. So please pay attention. The company where you are going, you worked is what you're going to put it across. What's your designation? Which location you were working, and from to time, and predominant 3 to 5 pointers which you think you have just brought out, which is visible for in that role. That's good enough, right? Rather than just talking too much about it. So just the gist of your professional experience, you're just going to talk about that. So that's what you're just going to do that. And then if you've taken some sabbatical break, typically women, when they come to our community, that is the one which we address. But it's nothing to do with the women. Even men can just go for a sabbatical and then come back and do that anything, right? So whenever there is a break, you're going to call out that, hey, there is a planned leave of absence. So there is no ambiguity. It's a planned one. So please specify that this is the planned leave of absence. If you are currently in a planned leave of absence sabbatical, you can say starting from this, and now I am in a planned leave of absence. Sometime you would have just taken a break and resume the job, break and resume the job. So you can also make it like a one pointer saying that planned leave of absence. Put this similar format and list that whatever the planned leave of absence duration. That's also good enough. So it's absolutely up to you how you wanted to do that. But please mention there is a planned leave of absence. And during that, if you think something you have just done which is going to add value, please specify that. And also make sure you are also, if you have taken it for a childcare responsibility, do talk about it. Don't shy away. because that is where you have just done even more a greater deal of work to manage the family. So let's just put it across how you can just project it rather than just hiding it away. Right? And if you have just done on top of it any learning, any volunteer, please bring it up. That is going to add value for your resume too. The next one is your education. You're going to talk about the education, your three things again: your degree name, college name, and the timeline. The timeline is one of the factor which I'll just highlight, but the degree name and the college name is pretty much easy. You know which degree you have applied or you have just gone for it, and which college, which is easy. Timeline is a little tricky part if you have a different story over there. What could be the story? Some of you would have just entered into the degree and finish it in a expected duration, but some of them, due to various reasons, you would have enrolled and you are progressing and you wanted to talk about it. Yeah, I'm going to complete it only next year. If that's the case, anticipated by so and so year. But sometimes you would have just taken a break. Still, you think it's a finance job, so it is added value to put it across. Just go ahead and then say that I did this kind of a financial certificate course from this institute, and I just completed a 10 what do you call your 10 units if you are just talking about it, or 50% of it, whatever it is relevant to that, just talk about over here. Then comes to your certification and membership. So if you have just done any certification and membership, and if at all it is adding value to your job what you're applying for, please don't ever miss it. Just talk about it and which organization is given and what year you've just got about it. Some of the example for you could be a PMP. And whenever you're talking about acronym, please specify the abbreviation. It helps for people to understand what is that you're talking about. Right? And the organization and the year you just got it. If it is only has got a very limited years of validity, specify that to saying that typically PMP comes for a 3 years. If that's the case, 2012 to 2015, and you have not renewed it as well. It's fine to say that. Then the volunteer experience. Um, this is the one section we don't take it very, what to say, meticulously in our resume. We skip it and we feel that whenever they ask, we will say about it. No, this section you are going to highlight it, talk about it. What is a volunteer experience? For example, typically our community member comes and then helps us for doing the events or teaching something, handling the community. It's a great deal to talk about it, right? So specify that from when to when, and you have just done that. And not only that, every employer, when they are going to look at your resume, they also look at that beyond job, what is that you have just done. So that way, this also adds value. Whether you're working or taken a sabbatical, it doesn't matter. Whenever you get the time to just support, to give back, please take a time. And this is going to be a added benefit to look at your resume to shortlist to a next level too. And sample for you. Since we are talking about our community, I've just pushed it for our community itself. So if you are a part of a community like that, you can say that, hey, I just volunteered at HerSecondInnings from this time to this time. And as a community member, I just handle the mentor walk events. And I connected with the IT leaders and then set up this particular track for them during the event. Or if you have taught something, you can say that for our community, I have just taught basic programming skills, communication skills, whatever it is, right? You can just push it across. That's it. So we have just come to the end of the recap part of it to talk about it. The personal section, which is just going to have your name, display name, your email ID, and your address with your PIN code and what do you call city and the state where you just belong to, and your phone number, and finally your LinkedIn URL. That's all is your personal section. Objective, again, you're just going to think about it against the job role. What is that your years of experience, skills, or results, which is going to become very resonating to the job role? Pull it out and use the objective statement, whatever I have just given in the display, and type it. That's it. You're just done with that. The key skills, which is nothing but a tabular column of three pillar: tech, leadership, and general. Type out whatever you're looking for. Then come to the professional experience. Keep up the 5 elements: organization name, the role what you're playing, when to when you're just doing, the location part of it, and the 3 to 5 pointers, which is a louder point to talk about against that job role, what you have just done. Education simplified. In case of a break, we have spoken about how do you just talk about it. And even in the professional experience, please put your planned leave detail as well. Certification and membership, volunteer engagements. That's it. So, with that, some of the quick tips I would like to just give it to you. Uh, Make sure your resume comes in a simplified vanilla format so that it becomes a ATS compliant. So nowadays, everything becomes a tool based. So the tool is going to do your first level of a screening. So make sure your keywords have been highlighted and the tool is able to read and then do the shortlist part of it. That's part number one. Second big tip, don't use one resume for every job. Take a time to just customize your CV based on your JD. Now that you have just learned a simplified step, even a tweaking one or two few lines would be a good way to just do that part of it. Again, not to just bombard the statement again. Spend time on making a good font, make it as a different sections. It is presentable with a good spacing, etc. Most importantly, do your spell check. If any help required, please seek help. You can review, ask people to say, "Hey, can you review?" and then look at that. People would be able to help you out. So that's the way forward to just do about it. And another quick thing, whenever you just get a call or somebody just sent a mail, you should also revert with a thank you mailer. Again, you don't need to break your head. What should I write? A simple format, you pick it up and then replace with the company name with the right information relevant for your job and keep it as a one thank you mail. These are all the tips which is just going to come a long way. Right. With that, I would like to also tell you, if somebody is interested in looking for building your resume, we can also help you. I've just kept the link for you. Go ahead, connect with our coaches, and they should be able to take inputs from you and create a customized resume format for your next job. So, with that, wishing you all the best and keep in touch with us. Happy to support you anytime. Any questions or anything, happy to take it forward too. Let me stop sharing the screen. Any questions? Go ahead. If I am open for jobs in more than one domain, should I have a different resume for a respective domain? That's what we spoke all about, right? So if you have a different jobs in multiple domains, for example, let me just give it as a two scenarios. Scenario number one, you're working in IT, but somebody is asking for working in a banking for IT and telecom and IT may not need it. But if you're going to work for an accountant for a CA firm to do the reconciling for your customers, and you're just going to work for a bank accountant, it's a different thing. Right? So that's where you go back to your step number one, the research. We asked you to do the research part of it. Pick up the job description and look at that. What is that job description is asking for? That would throw the value to you. Right? So that's how we are just going to look at that. That's a good question. Thanks for just checking that across. Anything else? Right? There is a private chat is also coming about it. How much time it's going to take to prepare. As I said, the step one, step two is just going to be the time consuming little bit for you to internalize your thought. Otherwise, as I said about it, in 30 minutes, you should be able to fill up this resume format and you would be able to do that part of it. Right? Any other questions? Good to go. How to make my CV catchy by informing the break in words. I am quite skeptical by writing the break detail in my CV. Please guide us how to make our CV catchy, right? So, in the professional experience, we spoke about it. You're just going to talk about it. There is a planned leave of absence. Make a title, planned leave of absence, starting date to end date. If you are currently in a break, starting date, and just leave it at present. So that's a part of it. And second, think about it, what made you to take a sabbatical break. Is it family? Then managing the family gave you the leeway for to learn more stakeholders, timely manner to do that. Right? People keep saying that it's a boot camp to prepare you for the next level. So speak about it. That's point number one. And then the point number two, is it anything you're learning? Please share that. Is that anything you're helping other people? Please share that. Is it something, anything you're just volunteered? Please share that. So your pointer is going to be, you are going to say a positive impact, what you just added value during the break, and any learning, any volunteer, anything you have just done, you're going to account for that. So I hope that just helps you. So the other question, I have worked on different tech in different project companies. Do I summarize all these of one place or according to the company? If your job, what you are doing, what you are going to apply, when you do your research, it just says, hey, it resonates for us multiple domain. For example, the good example, let me just put it across. You're going to become a program manager, right? The program manager could be a particular well-known company, and for the domain, you are going to look for that. You can say the whatever your experience and add it to that. The other pointers could be, hey, you know what, not only the banking client I handled, I also did the program management for a volunteer organization where we have organized the event with 3,000 members, which is across the world. We just brought it. That's a program management too. So if you just do your job research step, this will automatically give an idea for you how to promote these as a better way to do that. Hope that just answers your question. Thank you, team. Thanks for just asking these questions. It was really good to just make it. We were thinking at 7 o'clock we would find it difficult, but good to see the response over here. Any other questions? All right. Great. So thanks for taking a long time in the evening to just come back. It was wonderful to connect with all of you to just talk about it in LinkedIn about a resume crafting challenge. Anytime, anytime if you're looking for, you can just come back to that. So there's a last question comes from Abhilasha. Should we add recommendations too? I would say not in the resume. Probably when you're just adding a mailer, you can also give them the link and do that. That would be the better way to just do that. So that could be the way forward to just do that and resume. Adding the recommendation may not resonate well unless it is really do that, because believe me, whenever people wanted to feel that you are a right profile, they will also come back and look at you and ask you more detail or check in your LinkedIn. So if it is something is a recommendation in LinkedIn, that's also a better way to do about it. So there's other question for ATS. What is the best way to get the keywords for a set JD so that I am screen selected? Lovely questions, right? For the ATS, what is the keywords to be looking at? It's just not for ATS. So ATS is just picking up the keyword from the job description. So you have to pay attention to read your job description better. So if any of the job you are applying, spend time on looking at that. What are they looking for? For example, if they ask for a full stack developer, maybe it looks like a one word. But if you just go and look into that, they would be saying that, hey, you need to be good in the Java, Spring Boot, MVC, right? You will start looking at the keywords inside that. If somebody's saying that the Salesforce administrator, they would also be talking about the tools and the technologies which you are just going to be present and then using about it. So just pay attention to the job description. That should just help you to just get a better leeway of making sure ATS. So when they talk about it as a project manager, you should have just done the agile and scrum project, and you should have just done the what you call meetings and the scrum meetings which you have just handled that, and RTEs. So these are all the keywords where you're just going to pick it up and then put it across. All right. Okay. How to present ourselves on LinkedIn profile? Another great question. Thanks for just pushing it across. All right. Mm, simple way, I can just give you a copycat answer, right? Before even you just do that, your research and look at your other professional members whom you are fond of it. Go and look at that. What have they just done it? Do the simple review and refreshing thought. That it's a first step number one. Now come back to your point of view. How should I do it, right? So like, how did you do your resume preparation? The preparation is the key. You're going to talk about your professional experience over there. That's point number one. And point number two, there also you're going to talk about your education and the volunteer experience. It's nothing but the same CV what you're just doing. The one bit which is going to be different over here is, just because you updated in the LinkedIn, just don't keep it as it is. Once in a while, come back and then look at that. What other in your industry peers are talking about? How are you resonating with that? So I keep bringing it again, which is very known for our community member. I keep telling about it. One of our client came and say that if I wanted to hire any tech profile, I wanted to make sure this person is at least active in LinkedIn in the last 90 days. So it's just not about preparing yourself and putting your profile over there. Also making sure you're active is also one of the important elements. So hope that just answers your question. Great. Fine. So hope this just gives you the clarity, and happy to support you anytime, any support you needed. All you have to just do is connect with the help desk at HerSecondInnings.com, and happy to support any of the queries. Wishing you all the best and take care, team. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye bye.